Okay, so I'm just like so excited to be here because we're talking about a trend that is picking up steam. It's not that it's old though, it's actually been around for a little while. But I'm going to talk about floodlighting, what that is, why it's so dangerously distorting the true meaning of what it actually is doing. Why is it so harmful for women? What's actually going on with the truth of what it does? Why are the women today so susceptible to floodgating? That's one of the most important things to note. So with floodgating and everything that goes on with floodgating, it is one of those silent killers that comes along with a slew of so many other things. I just want to make sure you can hear me. Of so many other things that the majority of the women today are actually going through, but they actually don't understand that they are going through it. I'm just going to fix everything, make sure I'm set for you. They actually understand that something doesn't feel right, but there's such a pull to being this way with a man, in particular to dating, unless you're already in a relationship with him, and then you're just used to it. So let's start from the very, very top. Why would women today, because all the trends that happen because of the weakness in the system, namely in the system with relationships, with relating, with women today. So what's going on with women today that they would be so susceptible to floodlighting? And let's first make sure that you understand exactly what floodlighting really is. Let me make sure it's clear. That's a whole lot better. Floodlighting is been around for a while, but it's being accentuated now because the women are in desperate need of being needed by their man. And why is that? Because they're not actually in a place inside where they feel a value just being who they are, just with their own being. The women of today are combating a masculine distortion. And what that means is that they are not feeling a value unless they do. They are not feeling of worth unless their life is fairly difficult and challenging, and they're on top of it. Then they feel like, quote unquote, the superwoman. Then they feel like Wonder Woman. Then they feel like, because they're doing all this to man, and the man in their life, or the man that they are dating, that man would not leave them. AKA, I've got everything handled. I am doing everything in the world. And therefore, that is a woman's security that she thinks he won't ever leave her. This is why we're so very susceptible to this floodlighting thing. And I'll get into that in a second, but basically floodlighting, and again, it's usually done right at the onset of dating, where a man puts all his attention on unloading on you, the woman who he's dating, and she perceives that as closeness. She perceives that as intimacy. She perceives that as, oh, he's trusting me, when that means fuck all. But I'm going to get into what it really, really means. So first, there's something that we need to talk about that most people never actually see. And that is why strong masculine women don't feel just safe to be themselves around men, and why men, so many men, aren't even aware that they're causing it. And this will tie into the floodgating. Bear with me. So here's a truth that no one's really speaking about. And as a Heyoka empath, I don't recite recycled rhetoric. I don't go into heavy labels, although I may specifically use a label just because of what it is I'm talking about, so you grasp the meaning of what it is, but I will aim for the truth. As a Heyoka empath, I have been born in such a way where I can see distortion. Why can I see distortion? Because energies, the energy dynamics between two people. So I see the unseen translated into language, and that's why a lot of my vids, a lot of you, when you hear what I say or on my lives, you actually feel like I'm talking straight to you. Or you say, oh my God, I knew it was something off. I couldn't put my finger on it. And when you, as a distorted masculine woman, and all that means is you're not taking full advantage of your power. You're trying to be half a man you'll never be, losing all the full woman you could be. And I am so sorry to tell you and break it to you, but the woman in her spiritual essence is that which has power over this earth, not man. This is why man, not all men, but certain men have to exert brute strength, have to exert dominion, have to suppress, or in hundreds years earlier had to burn. Why would a woman be such a threat if she didn't possess something that they were hoping we wouldn't remember? So here's how it goes down. Everything is set up right now and has been for quite a while since the fitness era. And I know I'm an international athlete. I have 3 titles in 3 sports, swimming, gymnastics, and bodybuilding. Don't think I didn't fall into it. Any businesswoman, entrepreneur woman is going to do the same. Why? Because we all need to be in our masculine energy. When it's dealing with something that is competitive, ruthless, disciplined, can't stop till you win, competitive, sacrificial. The problem is that no one instructed how to leave your balls at the office or at the gym or at the court actually looks like. What it is that we do to go back into our feminine power of complete dominion over our world in the most silent, golden way. Do you ever notice that when you withdraw your energy, like you completely have had it? You don't talk to a man and complain to him anymore. You've had it. That he changes, that he pays attention. That's because as long as you're bitching and complaining, that's how a man knows you're not going anywhere. So because we had that whole fitness era and then boss babe hustle era and entrepreneur women, that's all great. But now it's costing, losing it to begin with. It got dimmed, it got what you want to you with very little effort. And when you're not linked and anchored in that, you will believe as a woman that your grind needs to be top tier, and then you will believe that the money and the wealth that you make will have to come at a cost of not having a happy love life or your health or something else. You will have it skewed. And so here's the truth of what's been going on. A masculine woman of today carries responsibility because she's, again, has never learned how to go back into her feminine energy, which will feel like a weakness when she's not plugged into the power of it. And I say the power of it because feminine energy is not a daisy. Feminine energy is not wearing pink lipstick and letting a man pay for you and that's it. And waiting. That's not feminine, divine, feminine empress energy, because that energy pulls everyone and everything that she needs into her orbit. A masculine woman carries a lot of responsibility. She overfunctions, that's how you know. She explains herself. She overthinks and she can't unthink. She puts her feelings last, if they even rise up. Oh, and they will, when they're about to bust through the wall, when it's too much to handle. She'll solve problems for everyone. She'll protect everyone except herself. She'll predict outcomes because she needs to. And in doing so, her feminine, divine energy, which is pure power that she's completely fucking unaware of, that soft, that radiant, that is allowed to feel safe in her environment, that speaks of abundance, that part of her gets trapped on the inside. It's not felt at all on the outside. So she's learned to survive, to armor up, to lead, because society or the circumstances actually have demanded it. So that's why that works like that. But here's the thing, that makes her feel unsafe. Why? Why? Because her boundaries are sharp, and they have to be, but inconsistent. She'll protect fiercely one day and withdraw the next day. She'll feel depleted. And men, they misread that. You men misread that. You see hostility or detachment, not the feminine core screaming to be acknowledged. Not that we make it easy for you to understand. But again, a masculine energy, there's two sides of a human being. For those that don't know, there's a masculine and a feminine. But when you have a vagina and you're dominated by a penis mentality, a dick mentality, you're going to take on the attributes, the actions and the behaviors and the thought patterns of a man. You're going to block his male mentality, and by default, he will have to go into his feminine, passive aggressive energy. He will have no choice. He will go there by default just to keep the peace, because only polarity works with love, whether it's gay or straight, it doesn't matter. Only a masculine will connect with a feminine. A distorted feminine will connect with a distorted masculine woman. And so now on the other side, a distorted feminine man, he will be addicted to validation. You can call him insecure, you can call him superiority complex, but at the root of it, and that's what I do as a Heyoka empath, I talk about the root of things so that we can pivot from them. Because until you have the root, you don't know where the fuck you are. You've just got another label describing the problem, but you're not in the vicinity of the answer, because you cannot find a solution in the energy that created the problems. And that's why I know that therapists don't work. They come to me for insight. Life coaches, love coaches, trauma coaches. And a lot of them are embarrassed that what they're doing, it just keeps you in the loop, including one I had that wanted to switch careers, and another love coach that says, I don't know what I'm doing, Nicole. All this attachment style and this, all we're doing is talking about what injury. We're not talking about how to eradicate it. I go, that's right. Because you can't eradicate something you don't see, because you need to go to the root. So when you're dealing with a distorted man, for instance, who's addicted to validation, control disguised as care, He doesn't see her. He doesn't see you. His feminine energy is going to have to over your ass. And that's why it usually wins. Because your feminine core is weak as fuck. You're dominated by your masculine core. So you'll take all the burden of being a man while in the body of a woman, and in the skin and psychology and physiology of the gentleness in needing an environment that would support her. But again, your mind sideswipes that, because it's all about now directing your energy towards what you can do to help fix or solve, to prove that you are of value, because without your fixing, you have fuck all value, because you're not attached to your gem. You don't even know what that looks like. That's why it's attached to your bank book. That's why it's attached to what you can do and how much you can figure out. You have no idea. I mean, I could almost scream with the trap that you're in. A lot of the majority of my just over 3,000 clients since I started my TikTok channel. Go check it. I love Heyoka. Close to 100, well, just over 154K. Have all been like this. Now, the thing is, the feminine man that is distorted in a weakened feminine energy, because his balls are no longer intact as you have them, they disguise control as care. They don't see you. They want to help. They do want to help. They want to give advice. They want to fix, but all it does is it undercuts your autonomy. And so you end up questioning yourself. I mean, what else of value can I do? If he does this, then I'll have nothing to do. So something's got to give and take. And then you'll ask questions that will penalize yourself, like, am I too much? Did I overreact? I know, kind of felt like it hurt, but maybe in the overall scheme of things with what's going on in the world and this death and that and children and this, maybe it's not really a big deal. Yeah, if you were a fucking shrink, but not as woman, that constant energy hijacking, it's subtle or overt. And it keeps your feminine energy, your feelings, which is the value of who you are. Not what you can figure out, unless you're a man. You can fix something. That's your value, what you contribute. But as a woman, your value are your feelings. It's what you are and who you are. So because they're muted, you are nothing. You don't even know yourself. Every time you turn away from your heart, you form a gap, which means you're going to need to be codependent on him or them or workaholic or something, because you're just floating in the ethers. You're not attached to anyone or anything. Masculine women often mirror distorted masculine traits in themselves because they've had to survive in the world that didn't support that feminine. And you can trace this back to when you were a little girl. Those that come to me on a one-on-one, we can go to the exact spots. But it's not about, oh, mommy did this. Oh, daddy wasn't around. It's not about that. It's about getting to the root of why you selected those parents to regurgitate and stir up things that were in your past life that you never mastered and or are clinging to your ass like saran wrap, and they could only do so thing. They can only do so when you're in a fucking distorted energy, because you're not in real time, present time, because like a baby that's wiped of its memory, that's how you're supposed to be in this lifetime. You're remembering of great things, like, I got to do this career. I know my whole family's an accountant, but like, I love being on stage and making people piss themselves. That's because that's a memory. That's a skill. That's a remembrance of a past life's accolades. Do you ever notice people who run either have really, really strong quads, which are thighs, or a huge butt, which is the power of the engine. And certain other sports people have different limbs in compared to other people that make them excel in that sport. That's why. But here's the thing, distortion means distortion. When you are plugged into a different outlet, you allow a different circuit to mess with your wiring. And in plain, simple English, I'll just describe it this way. When you're not in present energy of excited about life, there's a magic about you. Everybody wants to give to you. And I mean that. I mean, people want to be around you. People want to give to you. People want to know what your secrets are. It's the way you hold yourself. It's the way you talk. It doesn't matter whether you have millions in the bank or you don't. They want a piece of you. And that's because you're connected to this divine. It's a power from another place. It's not, and I'm not saying this to be woo-woo. It's not in a little fairy tale. It's fucking power. It makes the world yield to that which you want, because you think it and it appears. You feel like it and someone brings it home to you. It's that type of a thing. And that's when you're in your authentic feminine energy. But the masculine women who mirrored the distorted masculine traits in themselves that have access to it, and the reason why it's so taking over your life is because you're not in present energy where you feel safe enough to be in your feminine energy, where it wouldn't bring back energies and feelings of past experiences of pain that are all rolled up into one right now. And that's your driving force in life. And so the reason is because you've had to survive in a world that didn't support that. Okay. And distorted feminine men, heads up, they fear the femininity fully expressed. As in you telling them what hurts you that they did. They can't deal with that because it would mean they would have to man up. They can't deal with that. They are drowning in their fields. They're not collected to their logic. They're not connected there. Or they'd feel grounded. They'd be dry inside. They wouldn't be emotional. They wouldn't be like oyster snot. They wouldn't be spineless. They wouldn't talk a bite, but don't follow through. Because these men have a hard time initiating, following through, and mismanage a lot of things, sabotage a lot of things, and they're prone to have addictions. And if there's any questions, please feel free to ask me, and I will answer it as soon as I'm done. When a distorted feminine man is around, a feminine woman, her presence triggers his insecurity, his projection, and his withdrawal to hook you into guilt. So they either try to control it or run away from it. And like I said, addictive patterns. I don't care if it's work obsession. I don't care if it's seeing naked pictures of girls, porn, drugs, alcohol, video games. And then suddenly your energy is drained. Not because it's your fault, but because these men are taking it from you without reciprocating, because they're not fully in their masculine. So they're competing with your feminine energy. And here's the thing, men misread strength as too much. So not realizing safety has nothing to do with compliance. Masculine women then feel unseen. In intimacy, they don't feel close. Their logic and structure are mistaken for detachment at that point. So your responsibility for outcome overshadows a man's contribution. It has to. And the result? You internalize blame. You've got like a tic-tac mentality, tit-for-tat mentality, what he does, what you does. There's a competitive rivalness going over there. You think something is wrong with them when in reality, the distortion is being reflected back to you. That's what's really going on. Hi, Sherry. Good to see you, love. And so you freeze. You get codependent. You're muted. You're trapped in a distorted masculine energy yourself. See, the safety for you doesn't come from armor or control. It actually comes when you grab and sit with your feminine core and know that you have everything. In other words, you pledge not to allow anything to hurt your feelings at the expense of your feelings when it comes to hurting his feelings in order to get your feelings out. You ever notice you're with a femme guy and you tell him his actions hurt you? And he won't say, oh shit, I didn't know. Well, that will never happen again. What would be a better way to do that with you, baby? Instead, they will personalize it and they will feel like you attacked them just by stating the truth of what you're going through. So I need to fucking tell you right now, your truth is not their pain. Under any circumstances, youth is not their pain. Just so that. So the safety when you're in your feminine core and you stand up for that fire, you let your man meet you there instead of in a distorted pattern, then clarity emerges. It just does that. See, men can't fake alignment. Neither can you. They can't fake care. And the truth shows up in every single interaction. And you already know this. But because you're a woman in her mind, you can't really put your finger on it because you're not connected to your feelings and you don't honor your body to say, oh, whoa, whoa, that didn't feel good. I can't tell what's being done, but I don't care even. That didn't feel good. Withdraw energy. Or if you do work with me, you'll learn how to read energies. No one's going to be able to fuck with you then. This is exactly why I created 3 ebooks all in one called the Sacred and Feral Trilogy. It's like a map of every single thing that's happening and taking place right now. It's so, oh my God, forget being accurate, but it's so descriptive and it's so humorous that the crud of everything that you feel victimized by things being done to you, guys, circumstances, toxic families, you're going to laugh. You're going to laugh and see it from such a high vantage point that its hooks won't be inside of you anymore. Because when you elevate in your frequency, and that happens when you see clarity with insight, you'll know it happens because you hear something. And if it is inside, it is like a spirit that unlocks the energies that hold pain, shame, guilt, and blame in place. So when you hear that, you feel so relieved. It's not a data processing plant where someone tells you, he's a narcissist, he's a dick, he's a this, he's a that, and you go, oh, I knew I was right. That doesn't make you feel happy. And those type of women will always have arguments in their relationships. And to them, I ask you one critical question. For you, what is it about? Is it about what's more important? To be right or to be happy? Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? If you're in your masculine energy, long time, you do know that's where the ego lives, right? What is the ego? It's a deflated sense of self, because when it's in its good part of pride, It's so filled with grace. It's so filled with calm. It's like a king. Even when a king takes off his robe and he wants to be with common people, he's just, because he has everything, because he's in need of nothing, which is what divine feminine is all about. It's like a millionaire who walks into a shopping mall. He's not in a hurry. Or a millionaire walks into his own building, but nobody knows who he is. You know how you can tell you how he is and who he is? Because he'll walk slow. He'll have both hands behind his back crossed, like just taking in everything he's built, everything that's his, because he's got nothing to prove. He knows the truth. So this book that I created, which is just over 300 pages, every single thing that's on the dating sites, that's on the dating field, that's in relationships, that's happening to us right now, in a very young flair slang. And if you're a Gen Z, you're going to eat it up. You're going to eat it up. If you're a regular adult woman, you're going to be able to just have such a lightness of being, just because of the way it's written, that you will have collapsed time. Because usually when you're under pain, an adult way of handling pain of something someone did, and no fault of yours, I mean, what do you have available for you mostly? Therapists, and what do? They make you talk about the energy you're trying to escape. You cannot speak about something and not be sucked into that feeling of doom. You can't. You can't. Unless someone speaks it to you, and when they speak it to you, you've got to make sure that you are completely in this really high insightful way where they're giving you clues and a higher sense of a truth, where you look down and you go, oh my God, I never saw that because I was immersed in pain. So you're not immersed in pain now, and you have the insight of what it is, and you can move forward. For those, it's very interesting, because the book that I created, the Sacred and Feral Trilogy, it shows how energy distortions plays out in men and women today. It shows every way. You cannot be shocked anymore. You cannot unsee. And it shows you exactly and precisely how to reclaim the flame, which is woman, how to reclaim your fire, your regal bearing, your feminine energy fully. You don't have to absorb what isn't yours, but you will, because masculine energy women, they feel guilty unless they're suffering. It's just the two are rolled in one. And if there's a question about that, I'll go into that. For those that want to know where I'm from LA. So, and I'm touring the world now, going wherever I can to talk about my books, to talk about my work and the insight. You don't have to mute your light. And as a man, you don't have to give away your balls. You don't have to. But the problem is you're being triggered to shut her down. You're being triggered to show her who's boss, because she's controlling bitch right now. This is where I have couples come to me, and it's not like both of them have to. Only one of you do, because I'll tell you, as soon as the man who's too sensitive and the woman who is too in control and in her logic, and she thinks it's strength, but it's strength borrowed from survival, which is why she gets tired and drained. These type of people, I only need one to come. One come to me one-on-one. Your energy gets shifted inside. The man starts not to feel as threatened, and believe me, when you do this to a man, like put a bar there, he will surpass it. But he won't do it for a man with breasts in a woman's body, but the energy of a man, or the energy of a mother. A man is not trained to be sexually attracted to a mother. That's one of the biggest problems, where they say, I've fallen out of love, because you're not in the same energy of which he connected to you with. And it's not just about looking sexy and making sex interesting. It's not that at all. It's that you've started to do too much. He started doing less. You took over a mother role. He started being irresponsible. You started to tell him how to do what to do because you started to feel insecure, because the artificial disguise you had in the beginning, where you were holding yourself back to see if he was trustworthy because you got burnt last time, that's where you were in your right light. But those type of women, they get it very confused. They think they have to be such a bitch and so mean, and then he pays attention because they feel guilty doing their own thing, so that then he pays attention. They think they have to be up his ass to make sure that they show him that he means something when he needs breathing room. You have to understand, you know, in my first book, I have a book. I have a book. Oh boy, do I have a book. In my first book, it's on Amazon. This is my second book, the Sacred and Feral Trilogy. And in there, I've got 1 or 2 chapters dedicated just to how to honor a man and why they're so, you know, society will push us this way. Oh, women aren't equal. No, they're completely a whole different species. Why would we want to demote ourselves down to just basic man, mortal level? We are part of the spirit. It's not about us being equal. A man is not equal to a woman. We can't do shit they can do. Don't even try to pretend. Yeah, you can train and you can, if you want that kind of life, learn how to fly a deadly jet. Power, I don't know what those numbers are. You can do that. And yeah, a man can learn how to do knitting, but I'm letting you know that that does not stimulate his balls unless he has more estrogen than he does testosterone. And so in those chapters, it's not about, well, if the women weren't like this, we'd be like this. If the men weren't like this, they're making us a mother. No, it's not that. It's not that. We're being played. You need to understand. I'm going to get very emotional. We're being played, okay? Everything that's from the first thing that made women think they had to be strong, what that did is it buried, actually, their special tools of strength, which is meant to shield a man's inner world and incubate it. That's where God is. That's where your source is. This is why men are very scared when we're upset and we don't speak and we just look at them. Why does that frighten them so? Why? It's not just because they came out of a mother, although that has a lot to do with it. It's not that. It's that we carry a spiritual essence, and they know we're attached to, I don't want to say a magic like a fucking man-made magic, witchcraft, bullshit, crap, low frequency, garbage. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a real magic. I'm talking about a man looking at a woman and making him lose his mind and forget his fucking last name because he's so enchanted when he looks into her eyes, because he feels so much power and weakness at the same time. This is what they want to snuff, because there's nothing that inspires a man more than an unearthly magic that is captured in his woman. She's his heart, and he'll protect her like a lion if she is heart-worthy. That's why the way men are made, they can have sex with a lot of women. They don't get attached. But we have sex with one man for about a month, I think, yeah, and that's it. Doesn't matter if he's a criminal, doesn't matter if he's an idiot, doesn't matter if he's a wart. That's it. Because we release oxytocin, which is a love drug, a lot more voltage than how men release it. That's a drug. It gets us bonded. We don't fall in love ever. We fall in bondage with our body. And initially, we fall in love through what we hear. Their words said at the right time, in the right way, in the right tone. We're done. Done. And that's why men, when you're like, and you complain and bitch, it does nothing to them. They're not verbal. They're not auditory. That's not how men fall in love, with your words. Men fall in love initially through their eyes, with what they see, what shocks them. And it's not, yes, sometimes they can look at a beautiful woman, but it's never just a beautiful woman without her spirit, without her essence. And you'll always know, because he won't be able to speak. He'll be like, he won't be smiling. Oh, she's beautiful. No, it's like they're in a jungle and they see some kind of creature that they know they have to have, control, conquer, take. It's just, there's a pull. Try not to twist it into, if there's a woman lib here, feminism, schmeninism, wrong channel. But go ahead, I will tackle you. With anything of value, there will always be those above us that will try to contort that value. So the men will think they have to control their woman. Fucking bullshit. The women think that they cannot tell the truth to their man and tell it to a fucking girlfriend. Or they might even just, men think that it's okay. Go ahead, have a few girlfriends on the side that you can discuss your issue with. What are you doing? Do you understand that when you have an argument with your woman and you don't feel the coldness of being without her essence, and you go to some fake fur, not real fur, not your animal, but fake manufactured fur, that you'll be a little bit warmer, and it will dilute the intensity of needing to really process what she said, what she needs, and can you give it to her? Do you want to give it to her? Are you inspired to give it to her? She's your woman. If she's in pain, your heart is dead. Your heart is dead. She will affect every aspect of your life. And that's why for a man, his most important job is finding the right woman. That's a man's most important job. It's not getting a license. It's not making millions, although that's important. License is also important. It's being responsible for someone other than yourself and taking accountability. And the man will only do that when you are literally the feminine in him, because you got to understand, man is masculine and feminine. When they wear the feminine, they are a weak man. They are overly emotional, and they are looking for someone like their mother who did most of the work for them, sacrificed for them. They need a woman more in control, and they will look for a woman that has strength where they don't. And that woman will want this teddy bear because she's not connected to her feelings, and she loves how tender and affectionate and poetic he is, because she's not. She's about, this is it, and that's that. And so each of them get the mirror of what they're lacking in each other. And as long as she's giving him what he needs, see, a feminine guy doesn't fall in love. He falls in need of that woman. So what he needs of her, if she catches on, if she's just too tired and too drained with his nonstop story dumping, and I gotta tell you what, and not even receiving her, what did she go through? How does she seem? Where's her energy? Because that's his power, her energy. So her battery goes down. it doesn't give him anything. But then again, he's used to force feeding and being bottle fed by his mother slash woman slash shrink slash loan shark slash exorcist taking out his demons slash cheerleader slash dietitian slash tarot card reader slash everything but a woman. A woman whose value is doing nothing but the energy and effect she has on him magically in his life. She inspires him to be the best that he can be. He doesn't want to stop. He just wants to keep building. She's not telling him to do. She's not educating him. She's like the sun. She's warming up the deepest part of him that was cold, that was left out, that is half dead, that he doesn't even know. And that she sparked alive, and most important, she will bring out the innocence in him, the little boy. And don't think that man is going to be like a fucking robot. When that man, that you are the feminine inside his heart, that's his feminine is on the inside, and your feminine is on the outside, so his heart is personified in you outside. When he knows that's there, the little boy in a man comes out, and let me tell you, there is nothing that is more timeless to watch. There is nothing more beautiful than to watch a man be vulnerable. We're not talking about those guys that cry with phone commercials of little boys talking to the grandmother. We're not talking about guys like this. We're talking about men who have their shit together. We're talking about men that have a great sharp mind, and if they don't know how to figure something out, they go fucking learn. We're talking about men that are very strategical so that they can sense her out. They're like an octopus with all their tentacles. I almost said testicles, but I meant tentacles. They're wrapped around her. They need to sense out their woman because that's how they feel out their environment. And she just fills his life with color. So when you realize this, you realize you don't have to mute your light, because when you're dealing with a guy that's more in his feminine energy, it will be in competition for your energy. It will want to drain you. It will want you to listen and babysit him. And he can be a nice cheerleader, provided that when something goes wrong with you, that same day, nothing happens to him and he's in a good mood. But don't count on that if you and him, and especially if you're pointing out something in him that makes you feel shaky, that makes you feel insecure. If you're pointing that out in him, he's going to take it as a personal attack. So for him, but he will feel like that. I want to be a banana that looks like an apple. I want to be a banana that looks like an apple. Because I like my bananas to look like bananas and to taste like bananas. And I like my apples to quench my thirst. The two do not do what the other do. They don't. One has more fiber, one has more juice. I mean, just the way it is. So the equality thing started out in the work front, which I agree, you're doing the same job, producing the same results. Yeah, we should have the same money, but you know what? It got overspilled on purpose into the romantic arena. So what is it there for? It's there to level out the playing field so that this soccer team gets a fair start and is equal to this soccer team. So what happens when there's two soccer teams? One soccer team has to stick out and is competitive as fuck to prove they're the best. So you don't think that when you have to prove that you're like your guy, that you're going to be competitive with your man whom you're supposed to look up to? You don't think if you're a guy that you see your woman equal to you, that when she has a pain pressure point, you're going to say, just get over it. You know, that doesn't affect me. No, you're a fucking dude. You live in your logic. We don't process words the same way you do. We get affected by words because we fall in love through words. So words have the ability to slice our heart on the inside, like liver, with blades, very sharp blades. People don't understand that. The work isn't about breaking men. It's about claiming self as a woman. If you're a woman that you have to put down a man, you're not a woman. That's not your job. Your job is to elevate horn dog to man. And the man's job is to protect the jewel, provided it's a jewel, a real jewel, not cut glass. Real jewel. Real jewel have a sense of humility. They shine. They're bright. They know there's no competition. So when you do that, you feel safe. And the men who can rise to meet you, those are the ones who can't fall away. Because the man who, and I've said this to many of my friends, if I give you something for your heart to give you such peace, it would be this. The man or woman that is not matched to your field, your frequency field, you've got an imprint. When they are not a match, no matter what you do, no matter how much they come back, no matter what fight and what cry and what shrink and whatever, they won't change. They won't change. The man or the woman that is an exact frequency match to the highest version of you, no matter what you do to them, they won't leave. Now, you're not going to do stupid shit to them. You wouldn't be able to, it would hurt you too much. It would hurt you too much. So let's just reset here for those that have just come. Oh, I'm going to answer a few questions, and then I'm going to get right into the, I was going to say flood basing, but it's not flood basing, it's floodlighting. And it's just a term which is emotional dumping as false intimacy. I'm going to talk about it just so everybody is aware. For those that have just joined us, my name is Michal, and I am a Heyoka empath, and that is someone who disrupts stagnant energy. So when you do come to me, oh, I'm going to be a catalyst in your life. Rocks, boulders, they're going to shift and where they've been stuck. That's going to cause a bit of an avalanche with family, with boyfriend, with whoever it is you're around that's used to sitting on your face and farting. That's going to cause a bit of something. But as soon as it moves, it's like being energetically constipated. As soon as you've had that first release of your bowels, how happy do you feel inside? Because you've got space, right? You feel happy. That's what I do. And I do it in only one way. I do it with a clarity that it's not up for grabs for you to dispute, because it'll already have done its job. Before I even say the phrase, its energy has already worked out whatever is holding your pain, shame, guilt, and blame in place. So, as a Heyoka divine disruptor, people come to me when they're really ready to make a very sharp pivot off of merry-go-round. Enough of all this information and data I have in my brain. I'm reading so many things, I don't know what to do, not to do. You've lost touch with the one compass that you came that can't fuck with you. Your body. It can't fuck with you unless, of course, you're on drugs, medication, you're having someone very close to you, and this is really serious, I need you to listen, who is attempting to distort your reality of what is pain and what is not pain for you. They're saying things like, you should not feel that. I could scream with how retarded that is. You are telling me what my body, as if it's fucking up your ass. My body, you can't touch. You don't know. It communicates very clearly to me. You know why? You know why? Because energy can't lie. And it can't die. And it can't fucking hide. So, if you honor your heart, if you're a man and your gut instincts are raw, and you're not like a primitive pet, but the lion in you is alive and you can smell fuckery, it's gonna go good. Let me answer a few questions first. Yeah, I started it at 7 p.m. ET time. So I don't know why you came a half an hour later, love. But that's okay. That's okay. Let me... Okay, so let me explain something to everybody, all right? Why is it so dark here all of a sudden? Did it get dark? What just happened? Hold on. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Why does it look dark to me? It looks weird. Hold on. Okay, I have no clue of what just fucking happened. All right, let's just do it this way. The lighting just, maybe I need to just sit, oh, that's better. Oh my God, okay, I feel so much better. Oh, your time was off, no worries, sweetheart. The most important thing is that you're here right now. So, I'm trying this time zone. I don't know that I'll stick to it because my other time zone on Tuesdays is at 3. I think I may be giving up the Tuesdays. I will be putting more time into my projects. There's a lot I'm working on for all of you. So it'll probably be Thursday and Sunday. Sunday will remain 1 p.m. ET time. And I will test. Either this time will be at 3 or 4, or it will stay this. We'll see it at the end. But I have a feeling it's probably going to maybe go back to 3 or 4. Now, when people go on my live and they have to point out where they're from, I don't really care where you're from. It doesn't matter to me. If you want to say, hi, Japan, I want to say hi from Japan, I welcome that. But don't say things to provoke me. Don't say things to test me. Don't say things because I see everything. I recognize your energy, and all I will do is I will block you. All right? Because you're on my show, right? So, let's just go over the floodlighting, because it's pretty serious. Which is emotional dumping, and what that looks like is that it's completely false intimacy. And it's ridiculous. Actually, it's, you know why women, first let me tell you what it is. For all those that don't know what this is. You can think of floodlighting like someone turning a giant fucking blind spotlight on you out of nowhere. In relationships and dating, it happens when a person unloads a lot, too much, and too soon. traumatic things, secrets, heavy fucking emotions, dramatic confessions. And it's usually right at the beginning. Now, on the surface, yeah, it kind of looks like vulnerability. Wow, he's really opening up to me. He must really trust me. But in reality, it's just a subtle form of control and or emotional manipulation. Why? Because it pulls you as a woman into a fucking caretaker / mother role way before trust has even been built. That's energetic distortion. Genuine vulnerability is actually paced, mutual, and it's very grounded. And floodlighting actually hijacks empathy. It's like a shortcut to intimacy without actually fucking earning it. Kind of like the way sex is these days. So I can see this as just a progression of bullshit intimacy, since everything else is just like instant Pop-Tarts, no pun intended. And I want to tell you why for empath, this is so fucking dangerous. The danger is that you feel obligated to hold space and to fix and to nurture, which completely depletes you as a woman. You barely fucking know him. What has he shown you? How has he contributed to your life? Have you tabulated like all the seasons of how he would be in your life? Is he consistent? Do you trust his structure? And what that does is that it starts to blur your discernment. Instead of evaluating whether this person is actually safe or aligned, you are suddenly tangled up in, strangulated with their emotional web. And I'm not even going to talk about what it'll do to your energy. I'm just talking about the depletion and draining and how it shoves you into something premature that should never even be there. So floodlighting in the current dating trend is kind of basically when a guy, usually early, but it can also show up later in a little while, fucking dumps his unresolved trauma, fucking injuries, broken heart pieces, emotional baggage onto you as a woman under the guise of being vulnerable or opening up. Now, it's distorted because it's not true vulnerability, right? He may want to just see you and not pay $200 for a shrink to talk. And you know what? I'll tell you something. I once, because I'm very aware of what therapy cannot do. And so I would not go to a fucking therapist. But one day I was at a health food store, or was it, I don't know where I was, somewhere buying something. And I talked to this woman there. She was a manager. And the way she clicked with me, and it's not about, oh, we have the same this and that. The way she heard me, I just looked at her, I said, listen, can I come next week for half an hour? I want to tell you something that's heavy on my heart, because the way you're receiving me, I just want to even, I'm just going to pay you to be there for me. That's what I did. She was like floored. She's like, nobody's ever said, I'm like, they're all fucking idiots, because the way you receive me, she was so, I don't know, because if she was intrigued with me or whatever, but I just saw that opportunity, and she didn't say a word. I just had to say it to someone who was so universally embedded in fucking goodness that I could put it on a blanket without it being tainted or stained. Kind of like the way I do for my people, but I don't have that for myself. And that would be a true man deep love, business partner. I don't know that it could ever be a woman friend. Too much competition there. I feel too taken from. Oh my God, that, yeah. So for me, it would be those two. It's emotional unloading, and it will trick you as a woman into feeling like you have to like fucking nurture to heal him. And then that starts diminishing your energy right there and then. And it sets you up as his caretaker, a mother energy. And that's the dynamic, instead of polarity, that's what you need in order to build that up. And, you know, it's especially happening to women who are spiritual, because they're fucked. Now let me tell you why. They're the ones men target because they want a pure heart listening that is in a mother energy role. They know she'll understand, quote unquote. I call these things out because I can see how this feigned openness is really just a hook into someone's energy. And for me, that's highway robbery. That's like an energy vampire. And I'm going to do a vid on fucking how energy vampires work, unless you want me to address it here. I teach people how to discern. Is this sharing balanced? Is it reciprocal? Or is it a fucking dump? You know, am I connecting to this person's heart? Or am I being baited into a trauma loop? Here's why the women of today get taken. Emotional, spiritual, with all your seminars and femme coaches and shit. Like, my women will not be baited into that. Oh, no. Not my women. They see too much. They know too much. Let me explain, and this is so critical. Please share this if it's possible. This is the one reason why the women get baited today. It's not because they're emotional and spiritual. Not to be baited, because the root of it all is what? Can anyone guess here? What's the root of why these women are baited? I feel so much love here. I can always tell I feel love because when I'm looking at myself and I'm actually pleased at how I look, I can see it in my face, your love. For those that are here, thank you. You make me feel so complete. Thank you. I wish I could see all your faces. Wow. I wish you were all here one day. So here's the reason why. Hold on. They are lacking their value, which is equivalent to not doing, but being. They're lacking that. They're not connected to that. They're not connected to the mysticism, the essence of the spirit that's in the bosom of a woman. Why does a man feel so, when he's a grown-up, I'm not talking about a 4-year-old on his mother's bosom when he cries because the girl threw sand in his eyes and he kissed her, whatever the fuck, right? I'm talking about, why does a grown man, when he puts his head here on her bosom or on her belly, feel such a safety when he's no longer a child? She's not his mother. It's not a continuation thing. It's not that. It's because her energy is source. It's because even though it was home, weren't for the godness in her energy bringing him back home. through her, which is a direct plug-in. That's why I also believe men have a penis. We have an entry point. It's a plug-in. And you look, and I wrote this in my first book, The Wisdom of the Penis. Check it, it's on Amazon. It's a game changer, ball buster for sure, but it's hilarious, it's funny, but it's very, you won't be able to read it in one night. You won't be able to skim. The wisdom in it won't let you. It will force you to stop and go, oh my God, fuck, I can just see it my whole life now. It's really something. It's over 500 pages, like I think 506. It's not tiny print. It's very easy reading. It's very conversational. It's funny as fuck. I talk about how it all started and how I first noticed when women started taking on, and it was the athletic women, including myself, but more in the gym, when I saw everything taking place, when I could predict things that were happening and all that kind of stuff. And I'm working on my third book, Supernatural Badassness. Is going to be a fucking, that's going to tear, shred a lot of things. I don't even know if they'll let that book out, but we'll go one step at a time. I will be attached to very heavy backers by then, and then I'll let that book release. And there's two others. Sacred Defiance is another, and then there's one other book that this book that I won't give you the title to is, you know how sometimes they have these books that is like the game of life through golf, like, and they relate everything golf to life. Well, I do that with something else, and it's you in this of when I write this book. It's revealed. It's just. It's not about it being mind-boggling. It's more about it being an opening. It's an energetic opening inside your body that releases trapped energy with those few simple words that no one ever saw, because insight is not available to the naked eye. So these women today, they're because they have no security base in a guy. First of all, they're chasing him. You're going to tell a man that you love him and you're the greatest sex he's ever had, and he's going to say, oh, I don't know yet. No, you're going to say, I love you, baby, after you made sex and had love and whatever. And he's going to say, and you're going to look at him like, and he's going to go, well, me too, baby. Of course I do. But then you know what's going to happen? There's going to come a time where you have a fight, and he's going to go off on his own. And he's going to think back. When she said, I love you, and I was all in that moment, and then, God, she has a great ass. And at that exact moment, I said, me too. Was I in love with her? Or did I kind of just say back? He will never know now. He won't know. You beat him to the punch. He will. How can he know now? Because you can't say I love you to a man that's not there yet. He's not going to say it back to you. You can't. Had she been a woman, she would have communicated it with her eyes, her smile, things that lit her up. Give that back to him in her energy, in her shine, in her dedication to him, until such a time that he just realized, that's it, I can't live without you. I'm in love with you. You're it. I'm in love with you. I love you. At that point, like the little puppy dogs that they are, you can say, me too. And then he can say, actually, it was from day one. And then you can say, it took me a while. And he'll go, what? And you'll go, it's okay. It's okay. I had to know for sure. You need to understand it cannot be mixed up from the order. It cannot. You can try it the other way. It won't work. So the way women are today, and them having to kind of latch on whatever that they can to make themselves feel like he wouldn't leave. They have to be useful. And floodlighting, kind of what's a woman's appetite who's in her masculine energy, because she can make herself useful. Her logical, she's so smart. Oh, she figured it out from, I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you what a trap this is. I cannot tell you. That is why it's happening to the majority of the women. And my first passion is Gen Z. I don't know if there's any Gen Zs here, but when I get a chance to talk on a worldwide platform and just to colleges, university, I'm going to do this. I am just going to set a couple of things straight. And hopefully we will have more security at that point, because you know how people might not like what you say, whatever. Without getting political, I do want to pay homage to Charlie Kirk. And I do also want to say, also this. I really appreciate those women who came. First of all, a lot of women told me, thank you, I was crying, and the vids you made on him makes me feel better about the world and everything like that. But those of you women who came on and said, you know, I don't agree with everything he said, but there's no way he should have fucked. I want to explain something to you. When there's been something taken for granted, okay, like let's say abortion, I'm just going to go right there, of treating a mistake, mistreating an unfortunate situation. What has to happen by natural, something goes all the way there. If something's hanging from your ceiling and you take it and it goes all the way there and you let go, does it go right here in the middle? No, because it's got this momentum. It has to go all the way over there and then go back all the way there and then eventually come here. So when they had this, oh, there should be no abortion, and of course that's interpreted of, what are you trying to fucking tell me what I'm doing with my body? Of course that's going to happen. What a lot of women are not seeing is where it's come from. I know if I ever am so blessed to get into higher ranks where I'm able to talk to those in power that put such a strong new law out that really takes a woman aback. She can fall prey to be in a past energy of women being muted if she's not looking at where it's come from, and also not looking at, just like when it was right here, extreme, it made us now go right here in extreme. What do you think this extreme is going to do for those who don't misuse the system? It's going to make them what? More careful. It's going to make them something very important, and it disconnected. So let me just say the other way, and then it swings all the way back here. Now women are pissed. They're not going to acknowledge, bring back past being needed as a woman. What did COVID force us to do? Well, we fucking rested. We looked refreshed. We reanalyzed our whole life. We got rid of toxic people. We became self-made millionaires and or started online businesses. what this does, going from one route of an extreme situation to then having to go to an extreme situation of, no, you can't have this, as if someone rules your body. No one rules your body. But what is it making you do? Just like what did COVID make us do? That they didn't plan for it to make us do. It is taking a woman's prerogative and her value of herself due to fear of this happening and making her think twice. I might be stuck. Is this guy worth it for me to be stuck? I don't think so. No guy's worth it for me to go through that. Because making love is not supposed to be a sport. It's not supposed to be an exercise to take out your frustration, to take out the frequencies that you take it out when you're drunk and you go back to the same toxic people you deal with and collect those frequencies. Then you think the sex is really hot, but it's not the sex. It's that both of you are having a frequency war and there's a lot of combustion. When people were in a very negative state with the things that were going on with children, well, it was going to go this way, or I think in Canada it is already going this way, where we are sexualizing our children earlier. Let's teach them about masturbation. Let's teach them about sexual positions between guy and a guy, where a boy in grade 1 or 2 has to bring a coloring, or it wasn't even a coloring book, no, it was a book showing his dad a story about two men doing it. And everybody was outraged. And then they had, I think they called them queen or queer or whatever the Q word is, for rainbow clown people with dazzles and sparkles to come and teach education. To have that fanciful, like this is a lifestyle. To kind of take life from seeing life this way and now life is that way. When everybody was really upset, I told them the same thing. I said, what will positively happen out of this forced curriculum in school? People will choose to take out their children and homeschool them, and they will get smart, and the whole community will get together, and they will grow vegetables, and they will do many other things. And so if you look at what is happening to you that seems very dark, and you ask yourself, where's the gold here? How is this so going to serve my ass? You will find the gold. Just like a long time ago, when I was forced to be in a situation with some toxic people, and especially one in particular, and for those of you who don't know, I am a Heyoka empath, which means I'm able to see distortions of people dynamics that people can't see, because I read the energies between them that has its language that nobody can put their finger on what they're really doing. And then shrinks that learn how to manipulate you really well, or politicians that learn how to manipulate you really well. They can maneuver you, but you don't see what they're doing. They can't do that to me because I can read the energy, and I teach people to read the energy. So I've developed what I call Heyoka voice note, and what that is that it is, how can I describe it? I have a group, and I call it my Forbidden Collective, and every morning or during the day or evening, I send to them through the WhatsApp an insight of that day. And you have no idea how these people happen to need those words that I said, to really have that clarity, that spotlight. I didn't know what they were going through, but I will always have my fingers tapped on the pulse of the public. And so what I'm inspired to say is always something you're transitioning through. And so I say this to you right now. It is challenging if you just happen, and I have a client who did get pregnant, and she's 22, and she went out of the country somewhere to get that happening. And she was very careless with the guy that she no longer wants to be with, that she went to court for, with domestic abuse and all this kind of stuff. So perhaps we can look at what this seemingly negative thing is forcing us to do, is actually take our value back. Because when we do that, and like I said, if I am so blessed to be anywhere near Trump or anywhere near Melania Trump or any of those people, or especially JFK, I believe that I will be able to bring the leniency of what is very natural within what was supposed to be a safety procedure due to extreme circumstances. Now, because it's been abused, it's going to go to the other side, and they're going to reinforce all that. And there's going to be a bit of a war. But that is my take on that. I'm going to, let me see if there's any questions. Before I let you go. Oh, there you are. I sensed floodlighting in my former femme guy. I didn't want to care about my feelings, but wanted me to care about his. He didn't want to listen to how I was hurt, just the other way around. And wasn't this obvious to you? Like, didn't it feel kind of like, oh, I got to do this in order for you to do this? Didn't that feel like such a chore? Didn't that feel weird to you? I'm just wondering, Sherry, because that would just feel awful to me. That would feel like I'm doing a job. Then she says, this is such a high frequency that I have to restart my phone or something because it keeps glitching. Oh my God. Yeah, it did glitch while I was talking, honey. It did. It did, sweetheart. It absolutely did. I hope it's okay right now, love. Let me just see if there's, is it okay now for you, Sherry? And can anybody tell me if it's okay for you now? Can anyone tell me if it's glitching, or is it okay for you now? Or I can just wrap this up as well. Let me just sum up everything this way, okay? And this was a very powerful live. I hope you got the analogies that I gave you all. Floodlighting equals performance of care, not real care. You'll know because anything that's real care will uplift you, not drain you. It is a performance that's designed to blind your nervous system and hook you. And the reason masculine distorted women fall for it is because she's overprotecting, overdoing. Her inner masculine isn't steady. She's hungry for rest, so she mistakes fake light as safety and intimacy. That's why. Distorted men will sense her cracks, target her exhaustion, and blast her with attention, and that pulls her into dependence. And the cost? She will doubt her intuition. She will judge her worth, and she will adapt to his emotions, silence herself. She wears armor on the outside, but her feminine is inside, and it's trapped. Here's the pivot. Once she heals herself, when she heals her inner masculine, she will feel safe from within to say no, to feel what's what. No floodlight is going to be able to blind her because she is lit from within. She's not in a dark place where she needs light from an outside source. That's key. This is the reset that I map out in my book, Sacred and Feral Trilogy. And you can get that at my store, store.nicolecoleman.com. Or feel free to contact me in the comments. And if you want to be part of our collective group, the Forbidden Circle, where I leave you messages daily, I am offering this live 4 days. Just say, I want gift in the comments once I post the video, or you can go to my Instagram, or my TikTok is True Light, or go to my Instagram, Nicole Coleman _ and tell me you want the gift. And then I'll give you instructions on how you can listen and experience the insight that I give my ladies and my men. And when you go to my site, store.nicolecoleman.com, Koleman, no C, and there's an H in Nicole. When you go there are a lot of freebies there. You'll be able to see a few pages of the book and to read them, or you can get one book at a time, or you can get them all together. The choice is yours. Hold on. Let me see if there's just any more questions. Okay. Sherry says, it became turn off and had to turn off my empathy. But you see, when that made you turn off your empathy, it disconnected you from your feminine. He got used to my empathy, understanding, and forgiveness, and then he mistreated it. And I felt like he wanted a mother, and I was trying to get out of that energy and into feminine energy. You can't get out of an energy like that when you're with a guy that triggers you like that. Thanks to progress. Okay. All right. So I'm going to tune this out right now. Thank you for all of you that have been here. If anyone has any question about my one-on-ones, or you're welcome, Sherry. My next live is going to be Sunday, 1 p.m. ET time. And then probably my next time would be, I think it's going to be Thursday, but I think it's going to be earlier. I'll probably go back to my 3 o'clock time or 4 o'clock p.m. time. Bye.